Hello there, Year 7. How are you? I hope you had an absolutely fantastic half term. So, we're going to start a new topic for the final term of Year 7. And what I want you to think about is what scares you? And I don't mean like creepy horror films or anything like that. What scares you into being good, into behaving yourself? Is it a strict relative? Is there a teacher that you would always do your homework for because they really, really scare you? Is there a scary lady who lives in your street so you always drop your voice when you walk past her house so she doesn't shout at you for being loud? I want you to think about what scares you enough so that you will be really, really good. And when you think about that, then I want you to think about, from what you know about people in the medieval period, which we looked at last term, what do you think would scare them enough so that they would be really, really good? And I just want you to think about those two questions before you go on to the next slide. Well, here's the answer for you. People in the medieval period weren't really scared of teachers. They didn't go to school. Their mums and dads didn't really shout at them to tidy their rooms because most people all slept in the same room. What they were scared of was what is right in front of you, and that is the medieval church. Now, we're going to do some work on the medieval church for this term. We're going to do lots and lots of different things. But today, I want to look about why was the church so important to medieval people? Task 1. So once you've put your new heading, which is the medieval church, I'd like you to match up these words. Now what I'd like you to do is write out the words. The first one is Pope, and then to find the meaning that goes with it, write it out next to it. You might want to do them in different colours, you might want to highlight them, that's absolutely fine, but I want the word and then the meaning next to it, please, Year 7. Once you've done that, and not before, I'd like you to check your answers on the next slide. So on slide 5, I'll go through it with you, and correct any that are wrong. Right then, Year 7, here are the correct answers. Now, if you're struggling to see this, let me go through them. You can self-mark these, you can give it a tick. If it's not right, just correct it for me. So the first one is the Pope. Well, the Pope is the head of the church. He lived in the Vatican in Italy, and he's in total control of the church. He's the main man, if you like. The second one, which is Catholic, is a type of religion, a type of Christian religion, and the majority of people in England would have been Catholics in the medieval period. When we talk about the church, we're talking about both the institution, so the community of the church, and we're also talking about a building where people prayed and worshipped God. Now, the last but one, a priest. He's the man that runs the local church. Now, he was really, really important, as we're going to see, and people would come to him for advice and help. And the last one is heaven. And heaven is a place that Christians believe you would go when you die. So, like I said, check you've got them right. Give it a tick if you have got them right. Could you correct them if you've not got them right? You've completed task 1, which was your key language task, so thank you for that, Year 7. So now we want to come back to this lesson objective of why is the church so important. So I've put an information sheet on Show My Homework for you, and what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to read it. Once you've read it, can you draw out the following table in your book? Now, you can take a whole page, that's absolutely fine. I'd like you to do this using a ruler and a pencil, obviously, as ever. Make it nice and neat for me. And it doesn't matter if you put this as portrait or landscape, doesn't matter at all. But what I'd like you to do is put these headings. People were scared of it, it gave people hope, and the church was very powerful. And then, after reading through your information sheet, you might want to read through it again. Can you just bullet point 2 to 3 ideas of why people might be scared of the church? What are they scared of? What can the church do to them or threaten them with? The second one's a bit nicer. Why was the church giving people hope? Why did the church make people feel better? You might want to think about what other things happened in churches. You've got a paragraph on there in that information sheet. And then the last one, church is powerful. How does the church show the people it is powerful? Okay, so you draw this out, 2 to 3 examples from your information sheet for each of your columns, please. So, something that was mentioned in your information sheet is doom paintings. Now, doom paintings were on the walls of churches, and they were a warning, okay? They were a warning for people to show what would happen if you didn't obey the priest and you didn't obey the church. Remember, people were very, very scared of going to hell. So these doom paintings are often very scary and violent, and they were designed to show hell, to show what would happen to you when you went to hell, to show the sort of suffering you might expect. Now, on Show My Homework, I have attached a YouTube video which gives you a bit more information on doom paintings, and now might be a really good time to have a watch of that video. So here's another example of a doom painting. You should have seen a very famous one in the video. If you want to just Google them, just Google doom paintings, you'll see some images, but this is a pretty typical one. So what I'd like you to do is just using this picture, I want you to write a brief description. I'm looking for a maximum of 6 lines, ladies and gentlemen. So a brief description of what this painting is showing, what it would be like if you went to hell. I'd like you to describe what you'd be able to see, what you'd be able to hear, what you'd be able to smell. I want you to use this picture. You can use any other pictures on Google, okay, as well as the words in the word bank to help you. Okay, I want it to be really descriptive. Now, what I'd love you to do is once you finish this, with those words, see how many words you can use in the word bank. Could you underline them or highlight them so that your teacher, when they come to mark it, can really see which ones you have used? Final task this week, Year 7. What I would like you to do is I'd like you now to create your own doom painting. Now remember, you've seen your video, you've got an example in the slide just before this, you can Google them. Remember, your doom painting needs to show both heaven and hell. These were on the walls of churches. People would look at them when maybe they didn't understand the language that the sermon was going to be in. Maybe they would look at them because they couldn't read Bible stories. So it needs to show why you would want to go to heaven. So you've got to make it really, really lovely and obvious how great heaven is and what would happen to you if you went to hell. And remember, the big thing is it needs to be scary. People needed to be scared. And that's one of the reasons that the church got so much power over people. I'd like this to be A4, so you can take a page of your book. You could take a piece of paper if you don't have your book with you. Lots of colour. I don't want any pencil drawings here. Okay, lots of colour. And then when you've finished all this work, it can either be uploaded and take pictures and upload it on Show My Homework for your teacher, or your teacher's email is at the bottom of Show My Homework. I put them on there, myself, Miss Madden and Mrs. Warner, and you can take pictures and email them to us so we can mark them for you. Okay, that concludes this week's lesson, and I'll see you next week carrying on with a little bit more about the church.